And by that I mean you have your self-esteem, right? You have your self-image, and you have your self-talk. You following me here? Yeah. Self-esteem is what? How you feel about yourself, right? Self-image is how you see yourself, right? Self-talk is what you say to yourself. Now, how many of you know, as I stand here right now, many of you are in a negative loop right here, right? A very negative loop. Let's go back to baseball. What happens if a person steps up to the plate and they're in this negative state and they don't really feel as if they're going to be able to hit this ball? Are they going to hit the ball? Are they going to hit the ball? Now, a negative loop is they miss the ball and they start saying these things. Told you I wouldn't hit that ball. Told you. Too fast, whatever, just ain't got the skills. What do you think they start, how do you think they start to feel about themselves? How do you think they start to see themselves? And there's this negative loop. And many of you in this room, you have what we call sales esteem. And what that means is how you feel in any given moment in your business is dependent upon how much money you're making. And for some of you, you've been feeling really bad for a long time. Right? Because you're like, you ain't been making no money, it's just been going out. You're buying more and more stuff. But check it out. No desire, developing no skill sets. So are you guys following me on this? Yes. So here's the thing. If your self-esteem, if how you feel about yourself is negative, how are you going to perform in your business? How is your desire going to be to execute on the knowledge that you have so you can develop the skills? I know people talk about, you know, there's no I in team, and then you have the other part of the crowd that says, yeah, there's an M and an E and all this other kind of stuff. But let me tell you something. I believe in the fact that you have to build you up. You have a responsibility to build yourself up, because when you look at the big picture, when you look at the universe, you look at corporations, you look at government, you look at businesses, small businesses, whatever, on a cellular level is made up of the individual, right? And if you were not right, if you were dysfunctional, what happens to the team? You become the weakest link, right? So if you think about it, this right here is your core. This is your core. Because if you were dysfunctional in this area right here, it becomes extremely difficult to execute on anything else. Absolute anything else. If you do not see yourself in a positive light, what does that do to you? What does that do to you? Many of you, you can't see yourself executing a business effectively. You get it intellectually, but you don't get it in here. It's not a part of your image. It's just still a great idea that you're pursuing on the surface. Are you following me? Yeah. And right here, you say all these negative. Let me ask you this. How many of you in here, be honest, you say negative things to yourself? Right. And when we say something, it's human nature, because for some reason, we've just been conditioned to side with the negative. That's what we do. But it doesn't have to be that way. Because remember, there's a lot of different things in this world we would like to control, but we can't control. But there's absolutely one thing we do have control over, and that's our own thinking, right? That's our own thinking. So what we have to do is get control back of what it is we say to ourselves. Screw what other people say about us. What are we saying to ourselves? What are we saying about ourselves? Because you want me to tell you something? That's the only opinion that matters. That's the only opinion that matters, because words are extremely powerful. When somebody says something sharp and negative to you, how does it make you feel? Huh? How does it make you feel? Pretty bad, right? Then how do you start to see yourself? Huh? And then what do you in turn start saying to yourself? Are you following me? And some of you are so caught up in this negative loop, you're not able to get out. So what happens is there's this disorientation. You have this right here where you are, but you're not oriented to the environment and how you should be. For example, it's like, what should you be saying to yourself to become successful and to match where it is you want to go? How should you be feeling about yourself? And how should you be seeing yourself? Right? This is one orientation, and then there's the orientation of what you need to move to, and what you're actually looking for are negative matches. That's actually what you're looking for. The negativity is what you're actually looking for here. Because when you say, you know what, gosh, you know, I shouldn't be saying these things to myself because, listen, this does not support me. This does not take me to where it is I want to go. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't be feeling this way because these feelings are sabotaging what it is I need to do. Let me ask you this. When you're not feeling great about yourself or about anything, are you just geared up to do stuff to grow your business? Absolutely not. So feeling a way that's negative doesn't support you, right? And then how you see yourself. You see all these other people as being able to succeed, but you still see yourself as fat and broke. Right? So does that support you? But where does all of that go on at? In our own heads. Isn't that true? It goes on in our own heads. Who has control over what goes on in our own heads? What? We do. So isn't it true that the only power you need to completely change your life is the power that you have in your hand to control your own thoughts? Yes. Because what happens when you start to say great things about yourself, or somebody comes to you and says something really good about you, to you, right? Doesn't that make you feel pretty good? Yeah. Then how do you start to see yourself? And you start to feel pretty darn good that day, don't you? Women, guys compliment you on how you look, how you smell, how you're dressing, right? Makes you feel pretty good, doesn't it? But that's outside stimuli. So what we're doing is our whole self-worth is being dependent upon what other people think and say about us. So other people's opinion of us is what's driving how we're going to feel that day. But should that be the case? No. Of course not. That shouldn't be the case. So the thing is, if we get this in alignment, we'll have that right there. We'll have that taken care of, because check this out. If you don't feel as if you can execute on this because of this right here, the skill set is never going to be developed, right? And if you don't understand learning, if you don't understand feedback, because of this right here, you kind of have this negative loop going on, so the feedback isn't something to improve on. The feedback is just a reinforcement of something that's negative. Guess what happens? You give up. You give up. You just don't want to do it anymore. So what we need to do is we need to find out, what is it that makes you feel good? What is it that makes you view yourself in a positive light? And what is it that makes you say really good, positive things to yourself?